Hi, welcome to another episode of Look Ma No Hands. This is season 2, episode 5. I'm a little bit behind schedule this week, but I'm pushing through and getting this done. So in every episode, I talk about what I'm wearing, what I'm stitching, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and I finish off the episode with a segment that I call Fancy Footwork. Let's just jump right in and I'll talk about what I'm wearing. So this week I'm wearing a crop tee that I made called the Electric Sun Tee by Evelyn and Peter. I'm pretty sure that the pattern was designed as a summer top, but this is the third iteration of this pattern that I've done. I did 2 of them in a cotton acrylic blend, and then this one is done in a wool acrylic blend. So I really like the pattern. I like the kind of wavy look to the stitches. It's definitely a lot of work using 3 different colors at once, but it turns out and looks really cool. So I powered through the yarn management of working 3 colors at once and being smart and not cutting the yarn every row. I just carried the yarn up the one edge and just dealt with the crazy tanglement of yarn as I was going along. But like I said, I really like this pattern. I like the fit. I'm definitely not a sweater person. I don't know. This one is a little bit warm and a little bit scratchy, but I just really like the short sleeve concept and the colors and that wavy stitch pattern. So that's why I made 3 of them. This week, what I'm stitching is a baby blanket called Pound of Love Hooded Baby Afghan. This is the first pattern I ever learned to read. It's a fairly simple pattern. It's just a 2-row repeat, and it turns out really cute. I'm not using Pound of Love this time just because I didn't have any of that. As per usual, I'm just using stash yarn. Being that I'm not using the nice big ball of yarn known as Pound of Love, this particular project is going to be more than one color, and I thought it would look really cool using kind of like a light peachy color and a kind of lemony yellow color. So I think it kind of reminds me of like a peach lemonade kind of concept. And I also added a stripe of a creamy white, so maybe like a frosty lemonade. I don't know, it was a kind of spring summery color combination that I really liked. So I'll be working on that this week. I finished the leg warmers that I was working on and also made a coordinating headband, and then I was kind of hasty, didn't take pictures, or at least not good pictures of those projects because I was so excited about finishing them and how cute they turned out. Showed my mom and I was like, what do you think? Do you like it? And she said, I do like this headband. It's a nice little modern design. And I said, well, if you like it, it's yours. Because when I put it on, my hair did some things and yeah, it was not flattering on me, but it looked awesome on her. So I said, well, Mama, happy Valentine's Day. This set is just for you. And she put the poncho on and it fit really nice, and she said it was nice and cozy. And she tried on the leg warmers and she said it would be great when she gets up in the morning with her PJs on and wants to go down and make her cup of coffee. It'll keep her legs nice and toasty warm. So she got the Valentine poncho, leg warmers, and ear warmer / headband. I might try working a new pattern combination with the headband and maybe like a beanie style hat and see what I can do with that. I have a little idea in my mind of kind of a pattern mashup that I want to try out, so we'll see if I get around to doing that sometime soon. I'm kind of going crazy with projects right now. I have not yet finished the filet style picnic blanket that I was working on back in December. Now it's February. I'm not really the kind of person that has multiple projects going at once. So my brain right now is like, hello, finish something. And I've been finishing new projects and not picking that one up just because it's kind of a slog. I started it, got maybe a third of the way through it, quarter of the way through it, and it's getting kind of boring. So I'm having a hard time finishing that one. I might pick it up again sometime this week, but life's been crazy lately, so I don't know if I'll get back to that. I'm definitely going to finish the baby blanket though, because it really is my all-time favorite pattern. It works up really fast. The stitch is really cute, and once you get the hood stitched on there and the border finished off, it looks really awesome. So that one is probably going to get finished first because it's my favorite. So here is the project that I'm working on right now. I will definitely take some pictures to show the progress I've made so far. Like I said, this is the first pattern I ever learned how to read. The first time I made this, the final product was not pretty. The edges were not straight. There were missing stitches here and there. My tension was horrible. Probably the only redeeming quality of the entire project was the fact that it was a beautiful mint green color. But other than that, it looked pretty horrendous. It was not cute at all. But everybody's got to start somewhere, right? And I've made several of these blankets over the years. That first one I did over 20 years ago, literally when I first started learning how to crochet way back when I was in college. I was inspired by my little niece, who is now all grown up. Unfortunately, I did not finish the project in time to give it to her when she was a baby, but I persevered and picked it up again many years after she was born, finished it, and I gave it to her when she was about maybe 12 years old, and that was about 10 years ago. She had a good laugh at the story behind the blanket. I guess I can kind of credit her to being the reason why I learned how to crochet. I wanted to be just like my aunts for her and be able to make pretty things for her. I haven't made many things for her over the years, but a few here and there. And if she ever asked for anything, I would jump at the chance to make something for her. And now her little sister too. And I would make things for my nephew if he wanted, just like I make things for my own kid. I'm not sure if you can hear the machine that I hear in the background. It's the weekend, And one of the things that we do quite often on the weekend is cooking special meals, you know, the kind that take a little bit more time than the quick weeknight dinners. Today's special meal is vegetable beef soup with a loaf of fresh bread made in the bread machine. So I'm hearing the whirring noises of the bread machine kneading the dough right now. I'm not sure if that can be heard in the background, but if it can, that's the sound you're hearing. I can even kind of smell the beginnings of the baking process of that fresh bread dough. Didn't like how that stitch looked, so I pulled it out. The peachy color on this blanket is a vintage skein of Red Heart Super Saver, as well the creamy color. I'm not sure what the yellow yarn is. My guess is it's some kind of Red Heart Super Saver, or some color of Red Heart Super Saver, because it feels very similar to the other two. Truly is not a soft yarn at all, but the colors are really pretty, and I'm not one to discard any yarn. This piece literally could just be something that you throw on the back of the rocking chair in the nursery to add a little bit of color to the room, or with the texture of the blanket, it would make a nice little play mat to put on the floor for the baby, or you could lay it out on the bed before you do a change of the baby. I don't think of a project like this as being too precious to get messy. It's a baby blanket. Babies make messes. It's acrylic yarn and it's washable. So I would not hesitate to use this as a changing mat for a baby. And oftentimes the more you wash acrylic yarn, the softer it will get, and this definitely needs some softening up. It is not even a little bit soft. My boy would say it is a scratchy blanket. He would not want anything to do with this. whenever I ask him if I need to make him anything new, hats, scarves, what have you. He says, yes, you can make me something, just not with the scratchy yarn. So if you want to talk yarn snob, maybe I shouldn't say snob, yarn connoisseur, he knows what he likes, and he does not like the scratchy yarn. Not even if it's in his favorite color. He's like, Mom, that is not okay. He wants to like it, but if it's scratchy, he's not about that life. I think the dough is resting now because I don't hear any bread machine sounds coming from downstairs. Trying to be better about not just having silent segments in my video, so hopefully you don't mind my random musings while I stitch. I'm thinking about maybe at some point changing camera angles while I do this. Maybe doing like a dual camera action thing. Like I said, as I'm working on this YouTube channel, I'll be changing things up as I get more familiar and more proficient in filming and editing and all that fun stuff. For right now, I'm trying to keep it pretty basic because every time I go to upload, it's like learning all over again. Should make notes for myself when I sit down to upload so that I remember what I did from week to week, but I'm not that organized, I guess. I don't know. Or I'm overly confident in my skills and I go, I'll remember that. No need to write that down. And then next week comes and I don't remember that. But I definitely enjoy learning the skills necessary to get these videos out. It's a lot of fun. it's a challenge, but I personally enjoy learning new skills. So hopefully one day my editing skills will be equal to my crochet skills, and I will be able to put out videos that look way better than they do now. I know a big part of any kind of project is having the tools necessary to do the project. As I've learned to crochet, I've upgraded my tools through the years. So more than likely at some point I will need to upgrade my video production tools to make things look a little better. But for now, I'm a novice and I use novice tools. Okay. I think I will finish up this row, maybe, and then wrap things up. I will include both the pattern information and the video tutorial that I found online for this project, in case you're interested in making the same for yourself. I'm going to also go through my archives of pictures and see if I can find a picture of this particular pattern finished. Like I said, I've made probably a half a dozen of these blankets in the past, and they all turn out, well, not all of them. The first one was not great, but they turn out really cute once you've mastered keeping your edges straight and you pay attention to not miss stitches. And by you, I mean me. Like I said, I've improved my skills over the years, and this pattern, when done well, looks so pretty. And when not done well, the mistakes are glaringly obvious. Oops. Well, I thought I was going to finish this row, but it's taking so long that I think I'm going to end it here before this video gets too long. So last week, what I was reading, I had started Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, and I was excited to get that one. Unfortunately, I think it's kind of not hitting the spot right now. I don't know if it's just because the anticipation of it got me really excited, and it's not moving as fast as the other two books did. Maybe I hyped it up too much in my own mind, I'm not sure, but I'm a little more than 50% of the way through the book and just not really digging it. I'm going to finish it because, well, I want to know how it ends, but yeah, it's just not really doing it for me. I wish I could move through it a little bit faster so that I could get to some of the other things that are on my to-read list. Like I said last week, I downloaded way too many books for 1 week. And they're all sitting there calling my name saying, don't forget about me. And there's people waiting for some of them, and I'm panicking because that means when the return date comes up, I'm not going to be able to renew them, and I might have to wait a long time to get them back. So there's that. But yeah, definitely I'll finish it. Like I said, some of the character development is just kind of slow, and I don't know, it's just not digging it. I know other people have kind of said the same thing, but yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe the excitement has worn away. The first two books were pretty good, and this third one kind of felt disjointed and not really, I don't know, it's not moving as fast as the others. So I don't know what it is that has me disenchanted with it, but it's definitely not as exciting as the first two. So again, this week, what am I watching? Still all the same things from last week. I know, boring. I keep forgetting to mention that my son and I have been watching Will Trent together. Will Trent airs on ABC, and we love the detective work that gets done on Will Trent. We like trying to solve the mystery along with the characters in the show, looking at all the evidence and things to see if we can figure it out as fast or faster than Will. So that's a fun show for us to watch together. And then every year we try to find like an old TV series to watch together. One year we watched Little House on the Prairie, the whole thing from start to finish. Last year we watched the TV series called Royal Pains, start to finish. We just barely finished it before they took it off of Netflix. This year I started watching Golden Girls, and he hears me laughing from his room, so he comes up and he's asking me, Mom, what are you watching? You're laughing so much up here. So he started watching Golden Girls with me, and sometimes things that they do on that show, he looks at me and says, Mom, that is not PC. Like, this show did not age well. And I'm like, oh, it didn't really age well, but it's still funny. And he agrees, it is funny, but it's definitely dated. And then he always asks me, how old are the characters in this show? Because like, I know all of them like currently would be like 90 years old, or like Betty White was 100 years old when she passed. So he's like, it's hard for him to think of the show being, you know, almost 40 years ago, and just like, what age were they in the show, because he thinks of them as like great grandmas now. So it's hard for him to think of them as like younger than what they are in real life. But yeah, we definitely enjoy watching that together. There's a lot of things that we just kind of chuckle at in that show. And then Friday night we sat down together and watched You're Cordially Invited, starring Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. It's on Amazon Prime. He's a really big fan of Will Ferrell, so he was excited to watch it. And all the antics that take place in this movie were things that he just found incredibly funny. If you're not a Will Ferrell fan, I don't think you'll like this, just because of how Will Ferrell it really is. I love Will Ferrell too, so we were cracking up through the whole movie, and Reese Witherspoon playing opposite Will Ferrell. She just really nailed it. It was a great thing to see them working together. Their comedic timing with each other was just awesome. And yeah, we're big Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon fans, so it was a fun evening spending together watching that movie. But yeah, pretty much like I said, all of the same boring shows that I'm watching. They're not boring to me. I enjoy them quite a bit, but probably hearing me talking about them week after week, you're like, whatever. But if you did check any of the shows out that I've been watching, When Calls the Heart, The Way Home, General Hospital, of course, can't miss my GH. Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Let me know what you think about any of those. I know last week I mentioned with Extreme Makeover Home Edition, wishing that the show would be a little longer, just because the kind of mashup of the home edit and Extreme Makeover, I feel like it deserves more time, because both of those shows have value and are interesting, and so watering the show down to 1 hour, I feel like you miss a lot of the really fantastic content of what is the home edit and what is Extreme Makeover. I would love to see a lot more done about like the process of building that house in those 5 days, and just the process of the home edit and how they set things back up for them. I enjoy both of those programs, so seeing them put together in Extreme Makeover Home Edition, but being so almost rushed in each episode is kind of frustrating, because they could do so much more if they extended the program to a 2-hour program. Just my opinion. If you watch it and you have some thoughts on the idea, just let me know. And yeah, I don't know. That's just me. I would like to see more. This week for Fancy Footwork, I decided to pull out my Nintendo DS. I have always been into video games since I was very young. I used to play with my cousin's old video games, and when I was probably in like 1st or 2nd grade, I had the Atari 2600, and then Nintendo came out with the Nintendo Entertainment System in the 80s, so we had one of those when I was a kid. And my brothers and I all had various gaming systems. Like one of my brothers had a Game Boy, so I used to play Game Boy, and we had the Sega Genesis. What else? PlayStation, all of those different systems like that. So I've always been excited about gaming. I even do some PC gaming. My favorite is The Sims. I've been playing The Sims on and off since I was like in college. It's just a game that I really enjoy playing. It kind of prepared me for grown-up life. I drive my husband and my son crazy because I'm constantly moving furniture around. You might notice in the background things have changed a little bit. Every time I get bored, I sit down, look around the room, and decide how to rearrange things to just freshen the place up and feel like I'm in a new setting. It sounds kind of silly. My sister and I used to do the same thing when we were kids and we shared a bedroom. We would sit down on rainy Saturday mornings, and Saturday was always like cleaning day. So whenever we cleaned our room, if we got bored with the layout, we would clean everything up, pick up all the things off the floor, take out all the under the bed storage boxes, dust under there, and then sit down and do like a floor plan of the room and decide where the beds were gonna go, and start moving furniture around, the two of us together. It was kind of almost like one of our major bonding things that we would do. we didn't often agree on much, but when it came to cleaning our room and moving furniture around, that was one thing that we could always do that was fun for us and we could cooperate and get through. So that was always exciting. My mom always said she knew that we were up to getting the room moved around when it got really quiet on a Saturday morning for about an hour or so, and then she started hearing the furniture dragging across the floor and the banging around. She knew that we were up there moving the furniture and changing up the scenery. So yeah, that's something that I really enjoy doing, and I feel like The Sims is like a virtual version of that. So definitely this week you'll see just the video games, and my choice this week for game is a game called Zensus. It's a puzzle game that I think the word Zen is in there. So the background on the game is usually like very calming scenes, like ocean waves, and the games that you play have to do with like moving shells and stones around and solving the puzzle like that. So yeah, it's a fun, relaxing game, although the more puzzles you solve, the harder they get, and then I don't know how zen it is, but I still enjoy it anyway. Yeah, all right.